Hey everyone, my next guest is Paul Webb, good personal friend of mine, has worked on some really cool projects with Starbucks. He's helped us with our artificial intelligence building, basically helping us put together neurolinguistic patterns, which is his basically, what would you say, Paul? That's your mastery, right? That's your degree is in
Well,
NLP.
yeah, specialty. It's how words influence our behavior. And so what a great time to talk about our behavior.
Right. And so with all the craziness going on, I reached out to Paul and I said, Paul, you've got to help us understand what people are thinking. This is obviously a crazy time. What is the behavioral psychology behind, obviously people going out and buying hordes of toilet paper, how can we in the short, mid and long term really adapt to this? So maybe to start things off, Paul, seeing what you're seeing out there, the reaction that people are having, what is your first thoughts on the initial reaction people are having to coronavirus?
First of all, I want to say our thoughts and our prayers go out to the families that are affected by this through the medical aspects. You and I are obviously going to talk about the business side of it, but I want to first show that the empathy that we have for the people and their families, that we do care, and our condolences go out to those people that have been affected in a negative way, and our heart, we feel for those people. And so with that said, there's also the, how now do we find to move forward and to continue our lives and to avoid any circumstances that we may put exposure to ourselves, our families, our friends, our coworkers, our businesses, and making sure that our customers and clients are taken care of with the services that we provide in the industry that we're in. And so we want to make sure that we're very sensitive to everyone's needs, both the short, medium, and long term. And especially with the information that's out there today, we need to make sure that we're well informed. And there's a saying that we use in our program, the brain takes words literally, and human beings can only act on the information they are given. And today we have more information than ever. And,
Right.
and what we do in the body shop and with the OEMs watching this and people in the insurance industry, we fix things, and we want to fix stuff. I mean, that's in our nature and in the service that we provide to all the customers. And we want to fix the lives of the people around us by supplying, a livelihood and feed their families. And so we have our heart in our work. We have our heart in our business. So first of all, short term is we want to make sure everyone is well informed by the agencies that provide health information. And we want to follow that information. Then we want to be the example as managers and owners of the businesses to be the leaders of that example. And in the medium term out, we know that things will change, and things will change always for the better. And we always look for that. And when we look for it, Ryan, we'll find it. I hadn't seen my sister in a while. She said, "You're losing hair." I said, "No, I'm gaining forehead."
Right.
So
positive.
always find the good in things. And, that may be tough for some families who have gone through some from tragedies here. And again, I'm not making light of any of this in the sense that it is a medical emergency. And on top of that, how do we look for the good and continue forward in a positive light? It's the principles are the same, whether we're moving forward from a tragedy, whether we're moving forward from a failed business, a failed relationship. And so how do we get past that? And so in the medium time, in the very near future, we need to make sure we're well informed, and we keep our coworkers and our teammates informed, our customers informed, to let them know that we're providing service for them for their transportation, which is very important for people this time. Some people can go without a new gutters on their house, but to have transportation to go to pick up medicine for people, or to move out of an area that may be unsafe through a weather circumstances, we need to have our transportation. And this is the time when people are going to go, wow, I need to make sure my vehicle is repaired properly and is working properly. In the long term, we're going to find that we're really going to probably trim down on things that were not necessary, both in our business and our homes and our lives. And you can see that when people are going through the grocery store, looking at the shelves and seeing things that are not there anymore, that perhaps something that maybe they could have lived without anyway. And so we're getting down to the minimum of things, and being that person who relies on very little, myself personally, I find this almost like a cleansing, where we have to kind of look at what is important to our lives, our family, our community, our business, our livelihood. So
Yeah.
how do we move forward to look at providing the best service for our community and our coworkers and our customers? And so to do that, we have to keep them informed. So the first thing is to make sure everyone has all the information they need. And it's for us as the managers and owners of the businesses to both keep informed our clients and our teammates.
Makes sense.
So
So obviously a lot of shops are probably in a turmoil now. The unknown, what to expect in the future. I'm sure customers are unsure of what to do. When a mind is unsure or confused about the future, is there any advice that you have around that mindset? Whether it's leadership, staff, or the customers.
certainly, and first it starts with the words that we use. And I noticed this when we were doing sales and management and leadership programs. A simple follow-up letter that says, "Please don't hesitate to contact us." Well, now they hear the word hesitate, and we inadvertently put those words out there, not knowing. Like, don't be late for work. Well, we just put the word late for work into their subconscious mind. So we have to be very careful of the words that we use when we do reconnect with our clients and customer base, to let them know that we care about them, so that we're here for them when they need transportation needs, body shop needs. And again, the nature of who we are and what we do, we want to fix things. I mean, that's our nature. And so we want to make things better for the community, and to have that community touch where people aren't feeling alone. I'm not saying that other businesses may not do this, but we may be the only person that calls this person or texts them or emails them in the next 3, 5, 7 days, and they're alone.
Yeah.
And so, loneliness can be very hard for some people, especially without family. And some people have the family support, but community is so important. And sometimes it may be both with our coworkers and with our customers, to let them know that we're here for them.
Right.
And so that's the key ingredient, is using the right words, making sure that we choose them properly in a positive forward motion, moving forward to making sure that they know that we care about them and provide that service for them. So staying in touch, using the right words that are positive, words that will lead towards a future engagement to make sure these customers know we care about them, and especially with our teammates, to let them know that we care. And that could be as much as staying in touch with your team on a daily basis, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think there's really three elements here. We've got the customers, we've got the employees who are unsure and scared and nervous about that, and then we got the leadership, right? And so what things should the leadership immediately start doing to kind of persuade their staff that everything is under control? And what is the leadership? What advice do you have for them at this point?
Well, leadership is example. Very simple. Management is measurement and verification, but leadership is example, and it inspires people. And so I've always taught in our program, we have to go there first as leaders of the company. So we have to do what's recommended by our local governments and our local health practitioners, and we have to follow the right rules as a leader for the other people around us. And that example is what we send. That's the message that we send to other people. If we're traveling and doing things that are inappropriate at this time to minimize how things are contagious at this moment, we have to give in to this being sequestered and being by ourselves and not interacting, not having our children have play days with other people, if that's what the advice is, and doing the right things. And that's the message that we send as leaders. So leadership is example. Management, well, that's measurement and verification. And to do so is we have to make sure that we have clean water, we have a safe environment, we're not in the way of a harm's way in any way for any type of natural disasters. We have to maintain our comfort lifestyle. So, but at the same time, we may have to do without. And as leaders, we may be the first ones to do that. And by having that example, that inspires other people.
Sure. So one of the things that we see happening in the midterm, and what we're seeing is vehicles will be driven less because people are confined to their homes. And so we're wondering, what can shops do to persuade people to come out of their homes, get the vehicles fixed, whether, and we're also seeing people be more conservative with their money. They're unsure about the future. I want to keep my money. So what can we do to help people, and shops in particular get that work into the facilities?
Just like, now that I'm spending more time at home, oh, this is the best time to fix the gutters I've always been waiting to do. And this is also a great time to make sure that we take care of our vehicle. And so as a body shop in the area, OEM, we have to let people know parts are available. Certified technicians are available. We have the shop if we have people that are working our service bays and we have a limited amount of staff, so we minimize the contact within the shop, then we can work on a skeleton crew and make that service available to people if that's appropriate in your area. And again, this is going to be different, Ryan, for a rural area versus a more metropolitan area with a higher concentration of people. But if you feel that there's a safety factor and the local health providers suggest that, yes, that's something you can maintain a shop that's open at this time and maintain that and do so, then that's a great message to let people know. Parts are available, certified technicians, the same things we do otherwise throughout the day in our competitive workforce, those same things, how many years we've been in business, that we're here for you in a time of need. And that's the community side of it. So it's again, the same things we sold and advocated to bring people to our big business to begin with, only a little bit more conscious about it now. And we're doing it more in a way of providing a service to the community, a little bit more than price driven or the things that would be more competitive in the past. So now it's a feeling of we care about you. And through these times, this is the best time for our shop to make sure that you know that we're here for you when you need us. And so I think that's that element of concern for people's needs at this time, not so much being what we would call an ambulance chaser, people that are opportunists looking to take advantage of people in a time of need. This is a time when transportation was the best time to have it work properly and to make sure that it's maintained properly, whether it's a body shop or a repair of any kind, to make sure that when people need it, the automobile is there for them. And Ryan, the automobile has always been a sign of freedom for people. And that's what people are having a little bit trouble with right now, being sequestered and added, their freedom is being taken away. The automobile has always provided that for them.
Right. So I think that's some really sound advice. So when we go back to a little bit more of what the future looks like, so we don't know, and it could be a 3 month, 6 months. We don't know how long this is going to, take to really blow over. What advice do you have for these guys to prepare their staff, their shops, their organization for a little bit of a longer haul? I don't think this is going to be a single winter storm. This is going to be kind of like, a longer season than just a quick storm that blows over. But what are you seeing out there? What helpful advice do you have for shops to prepare for that eventuality?
Well, I think that it comes down to community. And that's the best. When you study the people who live the longest on this planet and what they call the blue zones all around the planet, the strength of community is a key ingredient for people that live a long life. Right. And so as we look forward, the strength of your business and your work community, because some people may not have a family community to rely on. And a shop owner needs to be very cautious and careful to make sure that we supply that community to the people who need it. Some people don't need it. They have their own families and their own community. But the ones that don't, then they need to be communicated with on a regular basis. And whether it's 2 or 3 or 4 months from now, it may be something as simple as just a video meeting that we have on every 3 days. And you have a video meeting with people to have a community. And everybody sits around their laptop and they've got 15 people around their laptop all on a FaceTime. And right. So that is, I think, it's a strength that we need to use the technology of today to make sure that we address that. If we have to be sequestered over a longer period of time, we're going to find ourselves growing our own food in the backyard. We're going to find ourselves, doing things that were done in hard times during, times of scarcity. And so you're going to find people that become very, very clever at this. And I believe that the people in this industry, the body shop industry, the automotive industry, they're some of the most clever people out there. I mean, they can figure out how to fix a dent with tools that they make themselves. Right. And so, yeah. So you have that creativity side of it. And so I would keep that connection with all of your business community as well as your customer community. your family community, and make sure that it could be as simple as taking your phone and using it as without any type of video cameras, just taking a rubber band and using it with a stapler so it stands up. Now you've got yourself a video production, and you can stay in touch with people that way. And you can have it playing in the kitchen while you walk through the kitchen, but it makes you feel like you're connected to people. And depending on how long we go, we need to have that connection. There's a saying about loneliness, and if I may, I'm going to read something here. Yeah. Loneliness expresses the pain of being alone, and solitude expresses the glory of being alone. Some people don't know how to be alone. Sure. And they're going to learn that. Or some people go, what? I love to go fishing I love to go by myself and sit and read a book. And you know what, Brian, a lot of these answers for people when it comes down to who we are as human beings and sharing this on a planet scale, we all have the answer. It's inside all of us. We just have to listen because it's there all the time. And that answer is something, if we quiet down enough and take some time in solitude, we will all find the answer. It's within all of us. And so I started off by saying the brain takes words literally, and human beings can only act on the information they are given. Check and recheck the information that you're listening to, because there are a lot of sources of information out there. And make sure that the information that you're listening to is valid and is of more than one source. And so in doing so, that gives you the strength as a business owner to give advice to the people around you in your community, the people that work for you, and your family. I think we have a duty to do that, to make sure that we check the information. And today, there's a lot of information out there. So human beings can only act on the information they are given. What information are we receiving, and what information are we giving?
Yeah, I think that's really, really good advice, Paul. And, I really appreciate you taking the time to walk through these things. I think the shops will find a lot of value. Is there some closing thoughts or some things that you think would be good takeaways during this time of pandemic, if you will? Sure. What would you like to close out with here?
Well, if you study any major religion or any major history, they'll always talk about fear and they'll always talk about love. And the two of those are the opposite. A lot of people have fear right now. Yet a lot of people are finding love in understanding how to communicate better, and that communication can be with children that perhaps we've never talked to in a long time, family members we've never connected to in the past. And this, for some reason, gives us the reason to reconnect. It also gives us a reason to reconnect to our business community and to let people know that we care about them. So if you talk about fear, you always have to talk about love, because that's the opposite. And so what we're seeing is people that are afraid, but we're also seeing people that are coming up with a lot of love because they understand that that's the balance with what's going on. And so it's a time to look for this, the love part, because if you look for the good, you will find it.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, I think that's very helpful. I know you're a busy man, and I sure appreciate you taking the time to offer some of your advice. And as always, I appreciate your friendship and everything you do for us. So thank you again, Paul.
My pleasure. Thank you.